Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your bro, Joe. I don't know how many people still call me Jason or Justin sometimes, or, I guess it's okay. You get the J, you get the N. It's close enough, I'm here in Irvine, California. Flew in last night, and I'm here for basically a hippie conference. Like, that's what it is. It's a Portal to Ascension conference. Hippie conference. A lot of great people here, though. Great people, great minds. This morning, I was hanging out with Jason Quitt. Jason Quitt and Billy Carson. So if you're familiar with Jason Quitt, he's got a couple books out. One is called Forbidden Knowledge, and his brand is called The Crystal Sun. Jason Quitt is an awesome Canuck from Canada. Great information on consciousness and astral travel, and topics like this come from Jason. And then speaking of forbidden knowledge, Billy Carson, that is two different Forbidden Knowledge. Forbidden Knowledge is a book written by Jason. Billy Carson, his brand is called Forbidden Knowledge. You probably are familiar with it. On Instagram, he's got like 800,000 followers on Instagram. And he's got, a website, Facebook page, etc., etc. But Billy Carson, that's his brand, Forbidden Knowledge. So I was hanging out with them this morning, having breakfast. If you follow me on anything, any of my accounts, you saw a picture I uploaded. Speaking of which, I want to get more followers on Instagram. So go follow me on Instagram if you use that. My handle is JAY-SATHER, J Sather. And I'll description it after I'm done with this whole thing. So you go follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to get more peeps there and use that a little bit more. And that whole story feature is pretty fun. It's pretty addicting, not gonna lie. It's like Snapchat on Instagram. I used to be addicted to Snapchat like years ago, but it wasted so much data on my phone, and I was using it way too much. My employers were getting mad at me, so I just cut Instagram out of there. And then by the time I tried to use it again, like 2 years later, there were so many updates to that app that I just like downloaded it, and I didn't even know how to use the thing. I was like, what the hell are all these new features? So I just did away with Snapchat, but Instagram is a little bit more fun. I already got some, hold on. Got to do some modding real quick on my own. There we go, guys. So yeah, just gonna hang out in pretty much around here, around this hotel conference complex today. I got my handy dandy camera with me. I'm gonna try to vlog. I'm gonna try to do some recording around the premises today. And that is a whole different animal, let me tell you. Vlogging is a whole different animal than just the normal videos I do, with like a whiteboard or the computer screen capture, whatever the heck, because you actually gotta like walk around and talk to people and have them stare at you like you're crazy for talking into a camera, right? Pretty. So we'll see. We'll see who, and some people are scared of cameras. They get really, really nervous when a camera's in front of their face. So half the time you're walking around trying to record things, you got people like jumping out of the way, or you got the people that try to be weird and like get in front of the camera and like wave and do things. So I don't know. We'll see. What's funny, check out my Canon. I don't know if this is on all Canons, but I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can zoom in. There's a Q. There's a Q function on these cameras, on Canon cameras. It's always cracked me up because my camera always says Q at me. Like every time I try to record, it says Q. And then what's also funny is that the name of my my thumb drive, the name of it that I didn't choose, it just came this way. It's called No Name. I shit you not. Every time I plug in my USB drive into my computer, it pops up and it's called No Name. N-O-N-A-M-E. Synchronicities, man. They've been pretty crazy lately, let me tell you. The Wes Penra papers. A lot of good stuff in there. I'm a fan of his papers. They're a little older. I think they were written quite a few years ago, so there might be, of course, information and knowledge always gets updated, always gets refreshed every time we learn more stuff and figure out new things. But his papers are really standing the test of time. There's still a lot of good knowledge in his work. And I still read them from time to time. Someone said they're curious about water. What can I do to the water in my own home? Do I think water is currently wounded or in need of healing? Hell yeah, it is. It's wounded as heck. I mean, I'm in California right now where the water here is not good and you can taste the hard minerals and the fluoride and just all the crap they put in it. I would say absolutely get a filter for your house, and then you can look into like oxygen drops or structurizers or different thing you can do for your water. But definitely look into electrifying it, enlivening your water. What up from South Africa, Adrian says. Man, around the world. Thanks for tuning in. What time is it there? It's got to be like midnight or something. Must be past your bedtime. From Poland, same thing. Gotta be late there in Poland. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for staying up late just to watch this video. Been live streaming quite a bit lately because I just haven't had time to sit down and do a lot of the, you know, recorded, edited screen capture videos, and you got to upload them. There's a lot of back-end work that goes into those. A lot of time. So these live streams are just easier to, boom, hit record, and it processes and uploads it all for you. So this weekend, probably doing this, you know, go live again tomorrow, maybe Monday, to check in. It's like I go a few days without uploading a video on YouTube, and people are like, I haven't seen you post, are you okay? And they start checking in. Give it like 3 or 4 days without doing a video on YouTube, and people will start, some people will start getting worried, which is adorable. Thank you for getting worried about me, but don't be worried about me. I'm okay. I'm fine. What up, Florida? What up, UK? Hello from LA. You're not too far away. Can I post when and where I'm going to be doing conferences so you can go? Absolutely. One of my projects I'm working on right now, which should be done very shortly, is a redid website. My website's going to be redone and a lot prettier. It's kind of cheesy now, and I don't know how to mess with it right now. It's on some sort of platform that I don't know how to edit. So moving the website back onto WordPress and making it prettier. There's going to be an event tab, so all the events that I'm either going to be at or speaking at, just wherever I'm going to go that I want to publicize, I'll be putting on there. So yes, to answer your question, I'll be doing that. What up, Angie from Austin, Texas? Hello, Spacey from San Diego. A lot of people from California and a lot of people from Florida here right now. Question, what Canon model? This is an M50. So an M50, it's a fairly new version. It's a Canon 4K mirrorless camera. So it's a middle of the line model. It's not an extremely fancy one. I've been contemplating if I do want to upgrade to a fancier camera for the documentary shooting that I'm doing, but I just am not going to right now. I'm going to stick with this in the meantime. And it does all the tricks. You know, you can do time lapses with it. You can do some slow motion. You can do 60 frames a second at 1080 and 120 frames a second at 720, which isn't the highest quality for slow-mo, but it's really good for a $600 camera. So this thing actually is a beast for what it is. And it has all the neat little tricks for like vlogging, or if you want to film yourself and things like that. So it's got the flip out that goes right at you. It's got a mic import, which is fantastic. You can put a shotgun mic, as I have on it right here, and there you go. That's your Canon freaking infomercial there that they didn't even pay me for. I just get a lot of questions. I get a lot of questions on what gear to use and what I use, what you can do to start your own channel, and blah, blah, blah. In fact, that's some of the... Next week when I get home, I'll be doing a lot of videos. You know, I have yet to do a video of the Great Awakening maps and the Deep State maps that I have, you know, on my wall at home. I'll be doing that. I'll be doing a video on just like how to, you know, tips and tricks that you can do to start your own brand, start your own truth-sharing networks. You know, a lot of people want to. They're kind of... I get it. They're stuck, but at the same time understand that the reason you're stuck, if you are stuck, is because you're overthinking the shit out of it. That's the biggest piece of advice I could give you right there. Like, yeah, there's all kinds of fancy equipment you can have. I brought a tiny little drone with me. I might get that out. I have a stabilizer. I have this camera, etc., etc. But I mean, for the first 9 months of doing my YouTube channel, I just used my iPhone 6 and I didn't use any mic. All I used was a phone. So if you want to start a YouTube channel, literally all you need to do is just go on to YouTube and start an account. And then you have phones, you know, right there with beautiful cameras that can face you. So really, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. The biggest thing is practice. Practice talking. Practice getting out the ideas in your head and framing them coherently and concisely. And that just means recording yourself, man. Recording yourself. Just do it. You don't even have to post the videos. Just record yourself and practice talking and get better at it. Because very soon, of course, the way the current events are going and the way Q has been posting, there's going to be some big shit going down. So very soon, we're all going to be activated to start speaking a lot more about these things to people who start getting really curious. They go, hey, I've been following your posts on Facebook for months now, and I haven't liked or commented on any of them because I don't want people to see that I am, but I've been following them, and I'm really curious, so can you tell me about what's going on? And then you're going to have to talk to them. So we're all going to be activated. Aliens, please. People want to talk about aliens, which is great. It means people are expanding their thinking, right? All these people that don't want to talk about aliens or they get triggered when talking about aliens or whatever the case is, that's just because they're confining their thinking to this planet, this ball. That's it. And there's a lot of things going on this planet, which, yes, you do want to understand, but there's so much more in this universe than just what's going on this little planet. You've got to think cosmically. That's why, like, that's the way I think. I think truly big picture, cosmically. I see us as a civilization here, and then I see so many other civilizations around. And if you really want to get woke, that's how you got to start thinking. Fallen angels, somebody says. You got to understand fallen angels are just one particular way of describing one particular group of extraterrestrials that came here thousands of years ago and started manipulating with life on this planet. So don't get caught up with the semantics of it. Don't get caught up with the rigid belief systems and get into that, oh, fallen angels talk and then ETs are interdimensional demons and et cetera, et cetera. Like, don't box yourself in with thinking like that, okay? There's a lot of beings out there. There's a lot of different races and species. It's a very complex topic, very complex. And those rigid belief systems can very easily confuse. I mean, they can help enlighten, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good information that can be gleaned from, say, this scripture, or that particular book, or this person's information, but, you know, don't narrow-mind yourself. Don't narrow-mind yourself. Yeah, Jimmy Lionstar wants to see Above Majestic. That's going to be out in like 3 weeks. Very excited for that. A lot of people are mentioning their UFO experiences in these comments. And yeah, man. A lot of those going around. And when you have a UFO experience, basically ask yourself, is it one of ours or one of theirs? One of ours meaning a man-made UFO, some sort of black project craft that deals with, doesn't deal with Bernoulli's principle and jet fuel. Deals with physics and sciences they keep locked away. But basically, is it one of our UFOs or one of theirs? And depending on where you're at and the situation, you can make a good, educated guess. If, say, you're in New Mexico, near an Air Force base, or you're near California, near any sort of installations, or in Colorado, might be one of ours. Likely chance it could be one of ours. But if you're maybe near Mount Shasta or maybe near Mount Adams in Washington or near particular vortex node points that these their craft, ET craft, used to travel. Or you're at an event, you're at a conference or at a CE Vive contact event, and you're there with the intention to bring them down, that's probably one of theirs. So it depends on the situation, depends on where you're at, depends on what's happening around you. But you can contact their craft. You can ask them to show themselves, and they will. I've seen it done. I've been there. You've seen lights at night in Florida at Tarpon Springs. I don't know where Tarpon Springs is at. Is that East Coast or West Coast or North, South, Middle? I know in Tampa Bay at MacDill there, it's been said, and there's photographs of triangular craft and square craft above MacDill there. So, and that's the home of Special Operations Command. So I would venture to guess, if you're in Florida, there's a good chance if you see a UFO, it's ours. But then again, doesn't mean if it's a 100% chance it's ours. Many of these UFOs have been known to, their UFOs, ET ones, have been known to appear over government installations that harbor nukes and shut down the nuclear warheads. Boop, boop. Been stocking up on Organite, Gary. I see that. When my website's up, I'm going to have hopefully some Organite products on there and some Ormus. So that'll be in the store there, working on it. Organite is it's a substance. It's basically multiple substances. It's made a mixture of inorganic and organic that not right now. And it essentially, sorry, housekeeping distracted me. It essentially emits a life force energy, orgone energy, as Wilhelm Reich described it. And if you have Organite around you, it essentially enhances your intention. So if you have a particular intention of, say, positivity and being protected, etc., it will enhance that. But if you have Organite and you are being an asshole, it's going to enhance that karmic redistribution. So yeah, if you're going to be an asshole, this gets into a very complex discussion of what magic really is. You know, magic is actually just the use of will and thought. So Organite simply strengthens the manifestation of will. That's how I like to think of it. Same thing with Ormus. If you have Ormus in you, it makes you more electrically conductive. So if you are a more conductive being, your thoughts are going to be more potent. So your thoughts are electric. Everything is electric. Study the electric universe. I've been studying that a lot lately. It's fascinating shit. So if your thoughts are more potent, for lack of a better term, manifest quicker. Let's see here. A lot of these concepts, a lot of these non-physical, metaphysical concepts are very tough to describe with language, because our language is, it's just a vibratory utterance that we're using to describe a thought form. So sometimes people are using particular words in different ways than you might perceive them. So it's an issue of connotation. It's an issue of semantics. It's, I mean, If we were all telepathic, this whole communication thing would be a hell of a lot easier. But we're not, mainly. Some people are pretty psychically gifted, but in general, we're not psychic yet, telepathic yet. So when dealing with language, it's difficult talking about, you know, extraterrestrials. Everybody has all sorts of different names. Then you get the people that are triggered by the whole angelic demonic thing. And again, it's just boils down to semantics, like what particular words are you using to describe this concept. Same thing with trying to talk about gravity, especially. Gravity and the ether and those ideas, man, it's difficult because science has screwed our heads with all this preconceived notion as to what gravity is and what black holes are and what... it's tough. So, either we invent our own language or we get very specific, and it just... Any single time you're trying to describe these concepts, you have to specify what you mean when you say different words and phrases, and then basically educate your listeners on your vocabulary. That's how you get into it. Okay, let's talk about Q for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to head out. I've heard about Q possibly being a British psyop. If Q is a psyop, it's a shitty psyop. Actually, let's talk about that for a sec. Psychological operation. Literally look at those words together. An operation that is being used to create some sort of psychological means and ends in a particular person or group, right? So Q, yes, Q is a psyop, okay? But the name psyop is sort of neutral here. It doesn't mean a good thing, it doesn't mean a bad thing. It just means, yeah, Q is bringing out information to psychologically make a difference. What is that difference? Well, okay, you might make the argument Q is trying to, I don't know, I just hear so many different arguments. Q is trying to make everybody complacent and apathetic. Q is trying to distract people. Q is some sort of controlled opposition to... I don't even know what the argument is for that one. Some sort of controlled opposition. All right, let's go into those. Complacency, apathy. Absolutely not. If you actually get on 8chan, holy shit. Q has absolutely catalyzed so many people into wearing shirts and making signs and making posts on social media and getting on 8chan and researching. Like, there's absolutely no complacency that Q has made. It's done the opposite, in fact. Controlled opposition. If Q is controlled opposition, why would they be putting out information on the elite pedophilia rings and Satanism in our government? And Q's even, I mean, Q has referenced so many different things that, I mean, what a bad psyop. If it was controlled opposition in any way, it's just, did a terrible job, Q. Hashtag sarcasm. And there's just, I mean, these arguments don't add up, right? They don't add up. Thanks, Right to Bear. Love you too, dude. How old am I? 27. I totally understand being on the fence about Q because it takes a massive amount of time and effort to get down to the bottom of. So I totally understand being on the fence. Don't get me wrong. It's the people that frustrate me that come out with argument after argument after argument and try to naysay this and naysay that. And you counter with evidence and you counter with perspective and logic. And then they continue getting into that completely rigid skeptic way of thinking. And they just, well, what about this? And what if this? And what if this? It's like, okay, all right, this is just kind of a circular, endless conversation here. Those are the people that frustrate. But it takes a lot of comprehension to gather exactly what and why and how and all this stuff behind Q. Yeah, Q being fear porn. I mean, what kind of fear is Q putting out? No, Q isn't on a radio show trying to scare everybody that they're going to get rounded up in FEMA camps every other day. Not at all. Q has given a lot of people hope. Absolutely. Okay, well then you might say Q is hope porn. Well, that makes no sense. Hope porn would mean that nothing's happening, and obviously something's happening. There's another argument that people have. Oh, nothing's happening. Q is just this distraction to make us think things are going on when nothing's going on. Again, look at what's going on. Think of these things. How many CEOs have been stepping down? Board directors, public officials. How many public figures have stepped away for sexual misconduct? How many congressmen are not seeking re-election? How many sealed indictments do we have around the country, or sealed court records if you want to get specific? Most of them probably indictments. How many weird instances have we had around the country of just all sorts of false flag incidents, from trains getting run off the tracks to planes crashing to shootings and what? Now we have white powdery envelopes being going around. I mean, just put it into perspective. Connect the dots, right? Q is the righteous equivalent opposition to George Soros. In my opinion, I bet Q was a group of military intelligence and white hats on the inside that were seeing what was going on with the mainstream and alternative and conscious media. They were seeing all of it and just seeing how bullshit it all was, and how tame and how controlled and how fluff and how nobody was doing any hard-hitting disclosure. For lack of a better term, disclosure. It was like the actual deep, hardcore evidence of all the Satanism in the government and the pedophilia rings. And not only that, but shit, we have all these people in the ufology realm that are just... I mean, it was a compartmentalization of these truthing communities, and that's why they were going nowhere, because it was all compartmentalized. So these alliance insiders, these white hats, were like, you know what, screw it, let's just do this Q operation to warn the people about the storm that's coming, the mass arrests and everything else. And then not only that, but completely trigger and... what words do I want to describe here? Trigger's overused. I guess we could say open up the truthing communities to so much more perspective and bring them together too. Because we're seeing, it's great, we're seeing the conscious community, the ufology community come together with a lot more political information, and we're seeing a lot of people in the politics realm getting their minds cracked open by Q. They're like, oh my god, aliens? Secret space programs? Holy shit. That's something that a lot of them haven't thought about quite yet. And not only that, but even in the health community. Like, I've been talking to some people that work in the natural health realm and the vaccine truthing community, and they're into Q. And they're trying to bring political and Q-type information into their, like, vaccine events. It's crazy. So that was, I mean, the goal behind Q was just to bring so many different truthing communities together, put out some disinformation to make the bad guys make some bad moves, of course. Scare the shit out of them. I mean, every single, what Q just posted the other day, there was a phone somewhere around Dianne Feinstein when she was threatening Murkowski. And tell you, that scares the shit out of the bad guys. What a psyop there, right? Cheeky Q. It's funny. So funny. Not only that, but, God. Okay. Do you think Q is part of the Earth Alliance? One faction. One faction. There's many factions. Q is one that has access to Trump, as evidenced, and working for a specific means and ends. Do you want partial disclosure? Well, that's a long conversation, a long philosophical, deep one about partial disclosure and yada yada. I personally don't think partial disclosure is possible, even if some sort of alliance factions are for it. With us and the internet and how hungry the public is for the truth, full disclosure is coming regardless, and we're going to make it happen. As Q has stated, you know, a certain percentage has to be held back just for the continuity of the system's public, keep the public okay, you know, don't let it delve into chaos and riots, which I understand. Granted, I think we do deserve the full truth, but I still understand the idea of keeping the peace in the public. Although when it comes to partial disclosure, there's certain things that, you know, and that's when it comes to Q, we just can't view Q as being, I know they say they have it all and all this stuff. There's a lot of people out there that worship Q and worship Trump, which, I mean, yes, they put their lives on the line. They absolutely deserve our gratefulness. But at the same time, there's topics that Q hasn't touched on. Let's just be real. There's stuff they haven't talked about. There's things Trump does that, I mean, yeah, there's a plan. I understand that. But just from at least my perspective, I'm like, man, soy farms, like, our farming industry in this country is poisoning the planet and poisoning us. We need to redo that. Where's our free energy? Where's this and that? You know, I'm just kind of an idealist in my head. But yeah, geoengineering programs too. The chemtrails still being sprayed, and 5G and whatnot. So think of those things. You know, Q is very specific, goal-oriented right now. Same thing with Trump. So they are trying to root out the Satanism. They're trying to root out the human trafficking and the deep corruption in the political sphere right now. But there's still a lot of corruption in the corporate sphere that we haven't gotten into quite yet, with pharmaceutical companies and agricultural companies and the aerospace corporations and all of that. Okay? So there's still a lot. There's still a lot of work to be done. A lot of corruption to be exposed. So whether Q gets to that or not, or something else happens, who knows? I mean, the point being here is that we have the internet at our fingertips. You can find disclosure on your own, and we need to wake up people to topics even Q hasn't discussed. If we want a true full disclosure, I mean, just free energy, like free energy devices, that science, that physics. Q hasn't gone there at all. But it is absolutely imperative. It's crucial to disclosure, to saving our planet, to saving ourselves, to what's going on here. Right? It absolutely is. So there's one example. That's why I don't focus 100% of my time on Q. It's absolutely important, so I do focus a lot of my time on it, but there's still a lot of stuff that interests me that they don't get into. And I'm kind of like, I've always been the person that sees years ahead, that sees out. So Q is a right now type of thing. There's a lot of other people focusing on that. Great. Good for them. I'm still going to focus on it, but I'm preparing myself, my understanding, my work for what comes years in the future. Like, I'm trying to understand and wrap my head around electrogravitic sciences and reciprocal space-time dynamics and these things that, the things that they should have been teaching in universities for decades, but they don't, but the things that we're going to be teaching in decades to come. So the world is about to change. It is changing, man. And heck, I'm only 27, so in 10, 15, 20 years, where's my understanding going to be at? Where am I going to be at? You know, I was put on this planet for a long-term, big picture plan, goal. Why ever the hell I was put on this planet. I don't know why. Do I think Q has a file on me? You know, probably. Shoot, I wouldn't doubt if they... Of course they read our messages and watch these videos and, you know. I truly wonder if in the very beginning, when, say like the Q group was briefing Trump on the progress of the operation, if there was my name in one of the briefings somewhere. But yeah, I mean, Q isn't gonna like link somebody or do anything like that if they weren't what could we say? Okay individuals, stand-up individuals, or like worthy of being linked. So they know that I don't do like cocaine and do dumb shit, and yeah, I'm not a bad person. I don't launder money offshore. It would be foolish of me to think that the bad guys don't read my text messages or the good guys don't read my text messages. How is James Gilliland doing these days? I think he's good. I'm trying to work a event at East City for next year. Do my own weekend there. Be like a 3-day retreat excursion. So, a lot of people getting on that JFK Jr. train. I don't worry about that. I don't bother with it. I would suggest that you, okay, if you want to get into that evidence and see how that all links up in your head, you do that. But trust me, there's a lot more important things to focus on right now. And the JFK Jr. thing is such an easy way for the mainstream media to discredit everything that we're doing and going for. So be very careful how you talk about it. Be very careful. If you're going to publicly tweet or talk about it, just be so careful. I don't get into it. Why haven't I ever mentioned Jazara Law? Because again, I think it's just kind of a dead end. Like, I'm not saying that, I don't know. I don't get caught up with Nazara. It's one of those savior ideas that they want you to get tied into, because then you think that you're gonna get this like $1 billion in your bank account tomorrow and it's gonna save you, right? God. Trust me, I was there 5 years ago when I first heard about Nazara, thinking that we were all going to get saved by these prosperity funds that were coming. And every single day it was, the intelligence alert for the RV. Oh my God, the RV is going to happen tomorrow. Oh my God, it's happening tonight. Oh my God, the dinar, or the Zimbabwe dollar is going to get redone. And oh my God, we're all going to be trillionaires. It's going nowhere, guys. Don't worry about Nazara. If it comes, great. But if you're getting complacent or just waiting for some money to come your way to save you, you're just sitting on your ass when you could be doing so much better work. Cannot have free energy without economic bailout right now? Why not? Why not? No, we can absolutely have free energy devices without, we don't need an economic bailout for that. Where's my conference in Irvine? Check out ascensionconference.com. And you can get all the deets for it. Will I be at Contact in the Desert next year? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see when it is. Trump is going to push big oil. Yeah, I know. I mean, again, thinking of it 4D, 5D, big picture. Fuck big oil, right? Sorry, earmuffs. Excuse my French. But, dude, big oil, coal, natural gas, like every time Trump is on stage talking about these things, I'm just like, every time I have to fly, I'm just like, screw this, man. It's nonsense. But I also understand continuity. We can't just disclose free energy like that because it would cause quite a public stir. And right now, yes, we do have to create American independence. We do have to create jobs and some sort of economic, how do we want to say, just a good economic foundation for this country, which oil and those types of heavy industries provide, right? So in the meantime, I do understand getting the oil production up, getting America independent, creating jobs, okay? And what I see is that these manufacturing jobs, this economic independence is going to then allow us to bring out these sorts of technologies and infrastructure changes easier, right? Using the existing infrastructure while we get ready for free energy. Somebody just commented. Exactly. We've got to prepare and enhance our existing infrastructure to then start rolling out a lot of these devices. Like, how are we going to mass produce free energy devices if we don't have the infrastructure right now? Granted, yes, it's shitty infrastructure that's poisoning us that we don't need, but we still need to optimize that to get ready for free energy, to change the systems. So, yeah, I mean, just think of these things. It's a long-term thought process. Yes, we want free energy. Yes, we want Monsanto ended and glyphosate and all this soy ended, but there's some. It's just the reality of it. It's the reality of it. It's okay. These asshole deep staters created the control systems that we have. They suck. So we're gonna have to deal with that in the meantime for a little bit while we get off them. I'm just, like I said, I'm an idealist. I want to get everything, disclose everything as quick as possible and get us on better systems. But, you know, my little idealistic mind thinking that way isn't always taking reality into account. So some people are saying new Q. That obviously puts the claim to rest that I am Q or I started Q or some shit like that. I post as Q. I don't know. The whole microchip guy, that microchip dude, Jack Posobiec's source for discrediting and debunking Q. He's trying to claim that I was like a part of this group that used to post on, I don't even know where, 4chan that started Q. I don't know what his claim was, but yep. I have so much time in my life and technological know-how that I can post on 8chan as Q. Somebody said Trump's hands are tied. Presidents do not have power. Yes and no. So different presidents throughout the past few decades have had more power than others. It all depends on the groups they're associated with and if they trust the president to keep their secrets or not. For instance, I would say George H.W. Bush probably knew a lot more and had a lot more access to stuff than other presidents have. JFK didn't have that much access to stuff, to the black projects. When JFK was trying to figure them out, that's when they took them out. So it depends on who you are as president. Now, Trump came along. They didn't plan on Trump getting into office. And, of course, Trump, being a president, and with all these black projects out there, he doesn't have control over all of them. He doesn't have access to all of them. But, again, with Trump not being a puppet like the rest, he's gaining access over them. He's getting access. So, yeah, Trump, okay, might not have access to everything, but he has access to, or he's gaining access to more than other presidents were able to. Elected officials don't have power. They do in many regards, I would say. They don't have all of the power, though. I'm an Irish shill. Irish shill. It's a good one. Is that a drink? An Irish shill. I'll take an Irish shill there, bartender. Yeah. Do I take Nation iodine? I don't. I eat so much spirulina and chlorella, and there's plenty of iodine in all the greens I take. Oh, you guys hear about that Kavanaugh vote yet? Is it out? Is it done? I'm totally disconnected. Yeah, all my accents need work. The only accent I have is American. Is Kavanaugh vote done yet? I'm so disconnected from all the political stuff this weekend. Soon? I don't think yet, people are saying. All right. New queue, some people are saying. To check that when I'm done here. Yeah, we'll see if it's 53 to 47. Now, mind you, when Q posted those numbers, there was no context of it. So it looked like the numbers of a Senate count, but we don't know that, okay? So we can't assume that that's exactly what those numbers were referencing. Could have been something else. Double meanings exist, eh? Yeah, you got to think of Q's posts in the idea of somebody working in military intelligence. Spy versus spy stuff. So, double meanings, codes, metaphors. Why are people hating on me so much? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I do that to them. They get triggered by me. That's okay. Sometimes I like to poke the bear, push the envelope a little bit. Trump congratulated Kavanaugh in a tweet, somebody said. Guess he's in. Will Q take on Vatican pedo-Satanists? That's what's been happening for months, man. Where you been? Where you been? Oh, he's claiming I'm misinterpreting the indictments. I mean, I see a lot of people that claim the indictments are being misinterpreted, but the information they're bringing forth as their evidence for that sucks. Some people are saying that these sealed indictments are just bankruptcies. Bankruptcies are public record. Yeah, you can find them on Pacer, but when you're on Pacer, you can go to the sealed section, and bankruptcies are public record. They're not going to be sealed indictments. It's the naysayers that are misunderstanding these sealed indictments. Can I try to do a Jimmy Church impression? Oh, God. If I even tried, it would be so bad that Jimmy would he would be appalled. And he would never invite me on his show. My opinion on the reptilians theory. The lizard people thing, huh? That's a common name. It's a common phrase people use because they don't want to think about the issue. They just want to laugh it off and ridicule it. So they go, "Oh, lizard people." It's just hurts my head when people say that. That's why on the Comedy Central skit thing, the Jim Jeffries. That's exactly what he asked. He said, "Lizard people," and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, define lizard people, and that's of course the soundbite they use for their little 5-minute clip. But You got to get, again, it's a language thing. It's a semantics thing. Define lizard people, define reptilian. I personally think there's all sorts of extraterrestrial species out there of all sorts of different varieties. There's humanoids like us. I think there's feline beings. I think there's reptilian type beings. I think there's avian species, bird-like species, right? Now, when you get up to a particular strength of consciousness, density of being, we could say, advancedness, like we are third density right now, you can get a humanoid frame on many of these different types of beings. So you can have a reptilian being that has what's called a 5-star frame. This is a 5-star frame that we have as humanoid. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. 5-star frame. It fractals out, so your arm fractals into fingers, right? You look at the sacred geometrical ratio of your fingers, this to your finger, to your arm, right? We have a sacred geometrical structure that we exist in. That's our body. That's this humanoid frame. This is the archetypal physical frame of life throughout the cosmos, right? So this 5-point fractal frame that we have, many different types of beings, when they evolve, this is the frame they get. Now, they might look a little different with us, have bigger eyes, they might have like avian features or a little more hair, or be reptilian kind. You know, if a reptile species evolves up to have a humanoid frame and consciousness, well, yeah, we can call them a reptilian. Sure, call them lizard people. Call them whatever you want to. And that being said, some are good, some are bad, right? You can have good people, bad people. Good lizard people, good, bad reptilian lizard people. Draco, right? So, again, this is a talk that requires so much more than just a few minutes on a YouTube live stream. And it requires an open mind and so much of different perspective. And quite honestly, it involves a joint that's like this big and like 5 hours of just sitting there having a conversation. And those can be good conversations. Now, one thing I don't subscribe to is the fact that our political leaders being shape-shifting reptilians. I don't think biological life can shape-shift. Now, I think that, say, if you're an advanced being with telepathic abilities, that you might be able to implant thoughts or thought forms into someone else's consciousness, but the person, the being, being able to shapeshift, I don't think that's possible. I think that's just some misinformation that's been knowingly or unknowingly spread, and they let it spread to confuse people. Check Q live, please. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then we'll head out. Hold on. This isn't on Wi-Fi. Let's see here. The QAnon.pub has been loading really, really slow on my phone. Speaking of which, I found out today that my website got DDoS'd again, and it's got DDoS'd every single day at 1 a.m. for the past 4 days. So it's like, it's an automated, it's like they have a bot that every day they send my way. Oh, it's just a Q post. Welcome to the Democrat Party, the party of threats, violence, intimidation, name-calling, racism, fascism, division. Hashtag walk away. Hashtag vote Republican. Yeah, kind of a reiteration there. Not too much. DDoS is a denial of service attack. That's when people that don't like you can take your server down, take your website down, basically. There's a new queue on top of that one. Oh, snaps. Let me refresh this. That brings up a good point in that you know, Q often says it's not a left or right issue, which it isn't, but then vote Republican and the Democratic Party sucks. And a lot of people are having a tough time reconciling that. Why on one end does Q say they want you divided by political affiliation, it's not a left or right thing, but then at the same time, they shit on the Democratic Party and say vote Republican. Well, again, we've got to deal with the slave systems that the deep state built, okay? We've got to use that to take them down. So it just so happens that the deep state wanted the Democratic Party to win this last election, and that was the enslaving party they were going to use to screw us all, okay? So it just so happened that Trump was going to have to run as a Republican to make sure Clinton wasn't going to get into office, right? The name doesn't mean anything. If Hillary Clinton happened to be a Republican, Trump would have ran as a Democrat. Or if, Bush was going to be, Jeb Bush was going to be their golden child that they were going to put in 2016, then Trump would have ran as a Democrat, right? The whole left-right thing, it matters, but it doesn't matter. It matters because, yeah, we're going to have to use this duality to take it down. So we have to bump up one side and purify that side. You see, the Republican Party has been purified to an extent. Once Trump got in, there was a lot of Republicans that just kind of went, oh shit, back away. McCain's gone, Paul Ryan's gone, a lot of them are gone now. So they had to purify one side and then demonize the other. That's how they had to use this dualistic system to end it. Purify one side to get rid of the other. So that's how you can reconcile it's not a left or a right thing, but it is a left or a right thing, right? So I'm still I'm a free bird. I'm a free spirit. I don't get caught up in calling myself any sort of label. I don't like it. Political hit by Democrats, regain power by any means necessary, new narrative coming. Let's see what this tweet is that Q just linked. A breaking 911 status. Dude, this is the thing. So watch how long it takes. It doesn't move. It'll take at least 30 seconds for me to click on a link and have it pop up. Oh, there we go. Finally. New. Christine Blasey Ford has no further plans to pursue her sexual misconduct allegations against Brett Kavanaugh, according to her attorneys. Cool. So they're abandoning Ford. They threw her under the bus, and there's going to be a new narrative coming. I wonder if it involves the Russians. I bet it will. Something else is coming. Some sort of new narrative push. We'll see. Blame it on those Ruskies. When in doubt, Russians. Dude, yeah. Good comment here. Could I do a mindfulness workout series, workout video for body and mind? I've been really wanting to get into that. A lot of what I talk about on this is political stuff and disclosure stuff and, sciences, hidden stuff. But my heart has always been in the health realm. It's where I come from. It's where I woke up. I'm athletic. I've been an athlete all my life, into fitness and training, etc. So I really want to get into more of that. I need time. I need to clone myself. But yeah, that's a good one. I'll be doing more health videos. I'm going to try to do one a week. One health video a week on some topic. It's going to be my goal going forward. What's the web address for Q? QAnon.pub. QAnon.pub. That's what I just showed you. All right, guys, I'm going to head out for this one. It's been a good hour kicking it with you this morning. I've got to go do some stuff. So have a great day, guys. Shout out from California. Peace, Ariane. Big love, Michael. Love you, Jamie. Smash that like button, 1111. Here. Thanks, Joseph. See you, Joyce. Peace, Dorothy. Yo, yo, holo, ho. Did I get that right? Cool. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.